Seventh time a team's gone up 3-0 in a best-of-7 series in NBA history. The majority polish it off in a sweep, 61%. 90% get it done in 5 or fewer. None of the previous 156 has lost the series. 9 of the previous 14 times a team has been up 3-0 in an NBA Finals, they in fact ended that thing in a sweep. We don't want that, Mike and Tony, who have more in our PTI bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, what is your confidence level that the Mavericks can pull off the comeback from down 0-3 to the Celtics?
0. No, nothing. I got nothing for it. And I was one of those people who was picking Dallas to win this series after seeing Dallas's run through the first 3 rounds, and I got it wrong. Look, I get it. It's going to happen at some point. And Boston teams are always involved in the drama, right? I mean, the Bruins were 3-0 up on the Flyers in 2010 and lost that series. The Celtics were down 3-0 just last year to Miami, forced a Game 7, and then couldn't win at home. And closing, of course, the Red Sox were down 3-0 in baseball, the only series that turned around completely, to the Yankees and won that series in the ALCS. So Boston's always involved in it, but Boston ain't going to be involved in this one. Tony, they got too many players, if you have said over and over, and you're right about that. They can tire out Luka and Kyrie. They tired out Luka last night. He was exhausted, and he's hurting, and he's whining too much, and they're not going to be able to come back against the Celtics. This thing's over. It might go to a 5th game, but that's as far as it's going.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, and I agree that it will happen at some point, and the great lesson in this is the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. But it has never happened in basketball. Nope. It has never happened in the finals in basketball. You go back to 1951, the Knicks were down 0-3 and apparently forced a Game 7, and they didn't win that. And it's not going to happen here, and there's a very specific reason why it's not going to happen here. Because even if you believe, and this is open to argument, but you could believe that Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are the best 2 individual players in the finals. You could believe that. Boston has the next 6, 7, or 8 in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, Boston is a better team. Boston is a deeper team. So it's hard to believe, honestly, that Dallas could win 4 in a row. So it may happen with somebody else. But like you, I don't think it's happening here. I don't think it's happening here. No.
That would be 0 confidence. That's it. We're done. We're confident of that. Back to you.
Yeah.
Coming up, rookie reporter Emily Kaplan is on the scene and joins us now live from Edmonton with much more. And Emily, how are the Panthers feeling about having Barkov on the ice tonight?
Oh, Elle, they're so relieved. He had to clear through concussion protocol, but he's good to go. They know that Anton Lundell has filled in for him this season. Eetu Listerainen is also a really good defensive player, but nobody is quite like their captain, who has shut down so many star players in these playoffs, including limiting Connor McDavid to just 1 point in these 2 games. And they haven't really commented on the hit. I think they were instructed not to, but Leon Draisaitl did speak today, and he wanted to make it clear to everyone he is not a player that goes out there with the intent to injure other players. He said, that's not my track record, and he did avoid supplemental discipline. The Department of Player Safety looked at the hit. Yes, he did leave his feet, but they saw his elbow tucked most of the time. And the truth is, the bar to get a player suspended in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final is a lot higher than it would be any time earlier in the season. So the Panthers are just relieved Barkov's back. It's best on best in this game.
Especially because, as you mentioned, he has had a heck of a time shutting down that top Oilers line. And you mentioned the scoring woes. What are Connor McDavid and company saying about just getting things going offensively tonight?
Well, Elle, they know inherently they're an advantage here at home where they can control the matchup. So McDavid doesn't have to go against Barkov and Gustav Forsling at the same time. They basically get to pick one. Now, McDavid spoke yesterday, and he's leaning back into the us against the world mentality. He's like, I am looking forward to people doubting this team again. They know the power play needs to get going. You mentioned their struggles. And he said, we've been able to solve penalty kills, and we are confident that we'll be able to figure out this one. they're going to start treating it like 5-on-5 hockey, and they think that's going to help them. And I did ask their coach, Chris Knobloch, this morning, is there something that you guys can do to generate more offense? And he said, honestly, we're not going to get more chances than we did in game one. The only thing we need to do is execute. So if they finish some of their chances, they feel good about their chances to get back into the series.
I feel great about your chance of getting another Beyonce fan. You are battling that win, but it is serving you. Look, sister,
the
Oilers.
Edmonton wind tunnel.
You just got to just lean into it. By the way, the Oilers are favored at home tonight, according to ESPN. Bet Emily Kaplan. We will see you on the call with the latest from Edmonton. Celtics. PTI's bonus topic is just ahead. But let's go to the NFL, where the league finally ruled on a couple of tampering cases. The Falcons were found to have had illegal contact with free agents Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney, and Charlie Warner. They were docked a fifth-round pick and fined $250,000. The NFL said an investigation did not find sufficient evidence that the Eagles tampered with Saquon Barkley. For more on this story, let's bring in our guy, senior NFL insider Adam Schefter. Shefty, how did the NFL arrive at this decision?
Well, this was an intensive investigation that involved interviews with various team officials, pouring through text records, going through emails, and coming to the conclusion that the league did today. And the league determined that the Eagles did nothing wrong, while the Falcons should have lost and did lose a fifth-round draft pick for tampering with 3 free agents, including quarterback Kirk Cousins. They allegedly had contact during the impermissible 2-day tampering window that is allowed, but you're not allowed to have direct contact with the player. And the league felt like the Falcons did, so it fined them. It docked them a fifth-round draft pick. It fined the team $250,000, and it fined the general manager, Terry Fontenot, $50,000. I think there were some teams around the league who thought the Falcons as a team would be hit with a harder draft penalty. So in that sense, the Falcons, I guess, in the eyes of other teams, should feel fortunate that they got off with only a fifth-round draft pick.
That's a very Falcons thing to celebrate, by the way. We got away with it without having to pay that much money. Cousins, by the way, leaves the Vikings after 6 seasons, signs a 4-year, $180 million contract with the Falcons. He's just one of some of the big money deals that we've seen so far for quarterbacks like Jared Goff, who got a 4-year, $212 million